With CM Punk having no creative control in AEW and WWE slashing their production crew, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for September 4th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. With him expected to face Roman Reigns at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, Finn Balor told Sports Illustrated that the Tribal Chief is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. The world was talking smack about Roman and his abilities and his performances. From the first moment we locked up, I knew he was something special. He was operating on a different level that people didn't quite fully understand. Now people are learning he is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. Roman's proven that over and again, and the masses have accepted and acknowledged that ability and growth. His presence is just unimaginable right now. While Reigns was successful in defending his Universal title against Balor on Smackdown, it looks like this feud is far from over. CM Punk had arguably the biggest moment in AEW history when he made his debut. Talking about AEW's travel schedule on Busted Open Radio, Punk spoke of the differences it had to WWE. I think the biggest ones are probably because of the pandemic, there's no more house shows. The travel is a lot less, it's a lot lighter. Even if I'm going to be on every single AEW show, and if they're taping Rampage, I'll be at TV, once a week, do a live Dynamite, tape a Rampage. That's a far cry from getting on a plane Friday morning, get to a destination, rent a car, drive to a building, wrestle, get to a car, drive to a hotel in the next town, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, oh we need you at TV Tuesday, do Tuesday, maybe fly home if you're lucky on Wednesday, and then you have Thursday to sleep and rest, or try to have a family or connect with friends. That to me, from an outsider's perspective, is the biggest difference. There's a lot of differences between AEW and where I used to work, but just for an overall analysis of the business, that's the biggest one. Predominantly, these companies are making money based on their TV deals. Punk will be making his in-ring debut for the promotion tomorrow night at All Out, where he is set to face Darby Allin. Speaking of AEW, Chris Jericho touched on his No Rules match against Nick Gage, recalling a spot where he thought he might have to kill Gage, saying this on his podcast. "We had a spot in our match, it wasn't really a spot. Obviously ours was on TV, so it's a little different than yours because there's a time constraint, and I think Nick was a little nervous for that reason. Plus we drew over 1 million people, so it's obviously the biggest crowd he's ever wrestled in front of in TV land, and he gave me a pile driver on the glass and smashed the stuff over me, and then he breaks the glass and he kind of sticks me with it, and then before he goes to get more light tubes, he comes back and do it some more." And I'm like, you've done it enough, dude. He came back the second time, and this time he was really getting me. If you see this one here, this is not a razor, it's not a gimmick. It is a literal light tube glass abrasion from that sticking. And that's why I was like, if this MFer keeps going, I'm going to have to kill him because enough's enough already. But I don't think he was doing maliciously. That's just him in his zone. While Jericho made it clear he is now done with death matches, he could be done wrestling if he is unable to defeat MJF at All Out. While AEW is seen as a place where wrestling talent have more freedom in regards to what they can say and do on TV, they aren't taking things as far as WCW, where stars like Hulk Hogan had creative control, allowing them to veto ideas in favor of their own. On the AEW All Out media call, Tony Khan explained, "Not one person, including Mr. Punk and everyone on the roster, has creative control. It's not like WCW, and that is one of the issues with WCW. When you have a person who has creative control in their contract, it can hold up the show. I don't know how you get through TV doing that. I can't imagine if I have to deal with that. What I do have is a lot of people I want to sit down and talk to and hear what they want to say." When it came to Smackdown last night, one person was absent, which might have led to it running better than usual. As Ringside News reported, Smackdown ran a bit smoother than Raw this week. We have learned there was one big difference: Vince McMahon. Mr. McMahon wasn't around Smackdown this week as he was absent from the entire day's event. That being said, he still maintained total control via the phone all day. Despite McMahon being absent for the show last night, he should be back next week, given Brock Lesnar will be returning in Edge as facing Seth Rollins at Madison Square Garden. Following his departure from WWE after the 2014 Royal Rumble, CM Punk made it evident that he had no intention of returning to pro wrestling, specifically WWE. Speaking to ESPN, Punk revealed he got an offer to re-sign with the company, yet he declined. I remember one of the first things I ever said to them was, above all, don't play games. And they played games. Some things never change. When you enter a conversation with people you have a past with and you know who they are, how seriously can you take it? I know exactly who they are and they just continue to prove it. I'm trying to be as diplomatic as I possibly can. With Punk previously stating he would have died working in WWE, he seems more than happy with his position in AEW. WWE has made a ton of cuts to their wrestling roster as well as their staff, with those in the promotion apparently under more pressure due to a specific backstage cut. As Ringside News wrote, WWE cut a lot of people in recent memory, and that caused a ton of extra stress backstage. We were told that WWE cut the backstage camera crews down to 1. Now creative and talent are under even more pressure while they try to make everything work backstage. WWE's backstage segments are now shot with 1 camera crew, as it remains to be seen if this causes more issues going forward. After winning gold at the Tokyo Olympics, Gable Steveson is seen as one of the hottest stars for many promotions such as WWE and UFC. Steveson was even in talks with Bellator MMA, with it also noted that UFC isn't trying as hard to get the Olympian as WWE. Speaking to Jim Varsalone, Steveson was asked if Paul Heyman will continue to side with Roman Reigns or go back to Brock Lesnar. As he replied, "You think so? It could happen, you know. Sooner or later it may happen, but we'll let Brock and Roman take care of business and we'll see what happens." With him previously taking a shot at Roman Reigns, the 21-year-old could find himself in WWE, but we'll have to wait and see if this comes to fruition. Going back to WWE's budget cuts, the company has apparently cut down on what is offered for catering, with Steve Carrier noting WWE cut a lot of items from their budget and many are feeling it. We also learned that catering took a major hit. The company nixed the catering budget and now the arena supplies catering. The spread is described as terrible, but a new, cheaper catering is coming in November. Dega Catering had worked with WWE for a while, with the new catering said to be cheaper. Jerry Lawler previously stated that the company spent $20,000 on catering for each show, which will no longer be the case. With all the speculation as to where the Olympic gold medalist will go, it has been reported that Gable Steveson has signed with WWE. As Meltzer noted, no start date or other details were given. It's unknown if he is done at the University of Minnesota, where he won 2 Big Ten Conference titles and was a 2-time All-American. Steveson also put out a tweet today confirming he put pen to paper, as we'll have to see when the Olympian makes his way to WWE. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.